Alright, so I'm doing a live stream. This is very random, but I'm on my way to work and I wanted to basically voice my ideas for a Transformers reboot. And hang on, you're gonna have to wait for me to cross this street. Alright. Like I said, I'm on my way to work. Hey, Shock Dances, what's up, man? How's it going? I've seen your videos, man. All I gotta say is, I know you're going through the struggles right now, bro, and I'm sorry about that, man. But, alright, so like I said, I'm on my way to work, and I kind of want to voice my ideas on this, and, I want to be able to, I guess, tell you guys this awesome-ass idea, I think, for Transformers Reboot. And what is up, everybody? How's it going? And this is all coming to me off the dome out of nowhere. But I don't know. I'm walking to work and I literally just got this idea and I was like, holy shit. I kind of want to see if this makes sense. So forgive me if, as I'm explaining this sounds cryptic, but I want to see how this sounds in word of mouth, because so far I've just been thinking about this, but I pulled my phone out and I was like, I gotta talk about this. So, alright, Transformers Reboot. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How's it going? Alright, so Transformers Reboot, the first film, oh yeah, this is a film series. I want there to be about 4 films, so to speak, and then possibly leading to a television show. So, I don't know if that's ever been done in the past, but like I said, this is random as fuck, and here we go. First film, Transformers 1, is the origin of all the characters that we know of. And for anyone that doesn't know, Optimus Prime, before he was Optimus Prime, his name was Orion Pax. And so, I would want this story to begin where it's on Cybertron, and it's kind of like a time of somewhat peace, you know what I mean? Orion Pax is a construction worker, and he has a crew that he works with. He is seen as somewhat of a leader to this crew, and they just, do repairs on Cybertron, and, they do a lot of work, and they're kind of like, this established crew for Cybertron. Megatron is kind of like this. In a lot of comics, and I think Transformers Prime talks about this a little bit, that he's like a gladiator. So I would kind of want to keep that in a sense of he can fight, and he's kind of like this Cybertronian fighter. He's not evil yet, but he's just this gladiator fighter that, fights for sport and for money. And so, yeah, that is who Megatron is, and he has like his own little group of people that he hangs out with, and these groups of people that Orion Pax and Megatron hang out with eventually lead to becoming Optimus Prime and the Autobots and Megatron and the Decepticons. So there's like a high council on Cybertron, and you can call these the headmasters, but for the sake of this story and for this film, I'm just going to be calling them the High Council. So it's like a group of, Autobots, or not Autobots, sorry. See, that's the Transformers in me talking. It's just a group of Cybertronians that basically kind of, run all of Cybertron. And so they determine what happens ultimately in Cybertron. You know what I mean? And, so, let's see, make sure I don't get lost here. This High Council determines what's going on. Yes, alright, so, one of the council members is killed, like, assassinated, like, very fucking violently and shit like that. And so, when it happens, it's found out by the other council members, and they kind of ultimately, tell the world of Cybertron that there's this, I guess, insurgency that is happening that wants change on Cybertron in a whole, you know what I mean? And they want to just completely change Cybertron, how it exists now, because they have their own, I guess, image for what Cybertron can be. And so these council members, yeah, let the world know that there's this insurgency, that those who you're cool with may not be those who you think they are. You know what I mean? So all this happens, and it gets word to Orion Pax and his crew, and they all have their thoughts about it and shit, and they, you know, are starting to feel weary of each other. They're starting to give each other different looks and shit. And Orion Pax eventually just says, all right, fuck this. I have, you know, my own thoughts on this situation. And he gives this speech in this moment this is all in the first film. In this moment, when he's given this speech, I would want it to, I guess, show who Orion Pax is, not as a leader, but just as a Cybertronian and as a person. Just shows how dignified this guy is, how, you know, articulate he speaks, how his opinions are relatable, you know what I mean? And he just gives his own personal thoughts. And everyone's like, holy shit, you know, you're a cool fucking guy, I got your back and all that shit. So yeah, Orion Pax creates this camaraderie between everybody, you know what I mean?
We must come together as Cybertronians, for together we can survive over these dark days,
or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Like he's basically becoming Optimus Prime, but he's not Optimus Prime yet. So Megatron feels that this situation needs to be handled with violence. And so Orion Pax feels that this situation needs to be handled with us talking to them and trying to come out of this peacefully without sparking something violent. And so Megatron and Orion Pax, like, I would want this film to kind of show that there is time that passes after the initial assassination. And so maybe, you know, there are thoughts of what needs to be done, and eventually groups start forming, maybe rallies are held. This is all in Cybertron. This is crazy as hell. Like I said, this is coming off the top of my head, so it sounds a little wacky. But basically, Megatron and Orion Pax meet up, and they actually create a bond with each other because they both know that something needs to change in Cybertron. But they both have different ideals on how that needs to happen. And I would want them to establish a bond with each other to kind of know and look at each other and say, hey, look, we both want change, but how are we willing to do it? Thank you, bro. Thank you. Like, we both want change, but how we're willing to do it is different. So this actually isn't a war film. This is actually kind of like a character development piece that shows the beginning inceptions of what becomes Autobots and Decepticons. So, yeah, Orion Pax and Megatron create a bond, and eventually I would want it to come down to like this decision of, all right, this is what's gonna happen. So the High Council holds this fucking like glorified meeting or whatever, and they're all gonna like decide on, you know, how to handle this insurgency. Well, the insurgency obviously is there, and like, I'm being very cryptic right now, and this sounds kind of like very weird, but I would want this story to fit. I swear, it's like, if this story is done the right way, this can be fucking awesome. This would kind of be like a Captain America Winter Soldier kind of tactical espionage film. But you get to see the creation of the characters that become, you know, Autobots and Decepticons. So yeah, the insurgency's there at this fucking council meeting, and all hell breaks loose. And Orion Pax is like, holy fucking shit, what's going on? And Megatron, he's there, and he's like, oh fuck, I don't know what's happening. But then all of a sudden, Megatron is revealed to be a part of the insurgency. And this is over time, as like, this is a separate event from the first occasion. What's up, man? How's it going, Roman? So Megatron is revealed that he joined the insurgency after the initial assassination because he wanted to see what they were about, and eventually he was going to go there and take them out. But he saw that they were individuals that were kind of reckless and lost and loose. And so, what you doing late to this stream? Oh, I'm on my way to work. But yeah, Megatron sees that this insurgency that's rising to power just doesn't have a real sense of direction, and maybe this could introduce characters like Starscream and Soundwave. This is basically an entire reboot of Transformers. So like, this is an entire fictional universe, so you can change the universe and do with what you want. And this is just my personal idea, so this, you know, if it sounds crazy, that's fine. If it sounds like something that, you know, could be something, that's fine too. This is just my personal kind of like idea for a story. So yeah, Megatron's revealed to be part of the insurgency, and this hurts Orion Pax because up to this point, him and Megatron have had this bond, and he realizes that with the bond that they've had, you know, and the talks that they've had over time, he was kind of like feeding Megatron this, I guess, he was powering his ideas to the point of where he would join the insurgency. So Optimus Prime, or not Optimus, I'm sorry, Orion Pax, he would never want Megatron to do this. But just with the conversations that they've had over time, Megatron realized that he and Orion Pax and other, you know, Cybertronians that, you know, have great ideas, that basically they wouldn't be able to accomplish what they want to accomplish with the current High Council that they have. And they know that the High Council is not just going to step down. So he wanted to basically eradicate this High Council, and it would be fucked up, but it would give a chance for new creation, new ideas, and people like Orion Pax to rise to power. And so Megatron, you can see where Megatron's lost. And so Orion Pax is like, you know, all this is unfolding in front of him. And eventually he's like, nah, fuck this. This is wrong, Megatron. This can't happen. And it creates the wedge between Megatron and Orion Pax. And so Megatron's like, well, if you're not with me here, then you're against me. And Orion Pax is like, yeah, I'm against you. What's up? I'm Ari. How's it going? So it creates this wedge, and the film ends with like a standoff happens where all the High Councils have like guns pointing to the head, and Megatron's like with the bad guys now, and Orion Pax has like, he's like, no, this is wrong, Megatron. He's talking about himself, and it looks like it's not going to be good for the High Council and Orion Pax. But then, like, the group of friends that Orion Pax befriended when he gave his dramatic speech earlier come in, and they're like, no, fuck this shit, and like guns go blazing, and then the guys that have the guns pointing to the High Council head are like, holy shit, and so they start shooting, and fucking gunfights happen, and that's when the action hits. And at this point in the story, we care about the characters. So when this action sequence is happening, you're like, holy fuck, holy shit. So all this happens, and basically Megatron and his group are like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. So they bust out of the room, and they transform in their fucking Cybertronian Transformer fucking vehicles, and they fly off, or they drive off, or they fucking disappear. And Orion Pax saves the High Councils and everybody, but he's hurt because he's like, Megatron's fucking evil now, and there's like this insurgency of bad guys out there. And the High Council's like, dude, what you did was fucking awesome. So we're gonna give you the name Optimus Prime. You know what I mean? Because they tell him, like, you know, what you did was something that only a Prime would do. You know what I mean? And Optimus is like, oh God. Like, so he gets the title of Optimus Prime. And this is so nerdy, but I mean, I don't know. This could be if the story is done right, this could definitely be something that I think would be a fun little story to play around with. But he becomes Optimus Prime at the end of the film. Yeah, this has all happened in the first film. And Megatron runs off with his group at the end of the film. So they're not the Decepticons yet, but Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime, and he eventually creates the Autobots. So it's kind of like this film shows the rise of the Autobots, and then in the second movie, it would show the rise of the Decepticons. And so that movie would happen with, it starts out where, the first movie leads off, Megatron's distraught, but he knows that, Optimus is no longer with him, and they weren't together, but they were, they were just friends. It's kind of like with Anakin and Obi-Wan, or Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, how that strife kind of grew over time. Or hell, Xavier and Magneto. You know what I mean? So, but so Megatron eventually brands them as the Decepticons, and I don't know exactly what would happen in terms of story. I just would know that this second film of Transformers would be the rise of the Decepticons, and it shows the Decepticons, and it would end with the war ultimately beginning between Autobots and Decepticons, and the bar is set for, Megatron and Optimus to be enemies of each other. So the third film starts with just all-out war. This is the war that we know of between Autobots and Decepticons. The whole planet's involved, and it's just this. The third film would basically be the Saving Private Ryan of Transformers films. Just completely fucking madness and chaos. Just a war film. You know what I mean? Optimus and Autobots are trying to hold on to what they have left, what they're fighting for. They're fighting the Decepticons. Decepticons are losing their fucking troops and shit like that. And it would be a dramatic movie. So then the fourth film would begin where this war has ravaged this planet to the point where this planet has to go into a coma-like state to rebuild itself. And so both of these fucking, factions of Autobots and Decepticons, they have to leave this planet. And so they're both trying to build ships while destroying the other faction ships because they're warring factions. And eventually it leads to the creation of the Ark and, the Decepticons that they create their fucking ship. And right before takeoff, the Decepticon, or right before the Ark takes off, I'm sorry, I'm being very fast right now because my job is right there and I'm about to walk in there. So I'm trying to end this. But, right before the Ark leaves, the Decepticons come and they just completely destroy or try to destroy the Ark, but they get off there just in time, and then the Decepticons chase after the Autobots. Fucking wars happening in space, and then there's an asteroid field that's in front of this this war that's happening in space by now, and so they try to fucking dodge the asteroid field, but they get hit. And it's so fucking violent because there's dogfights happening in space, and it's Star Wars, and it's so fucking crazy. It's not Star Wars, but space battles like Star Wars. And so basically they get caught up in this asteroid field, the ships get damaged, and I would want the Autobots to end up landing on a planet that they don't know of because when they got destroyed or damaged, maybe it fucked up their hyperdrive, so they just got shot off into space, and the ship just flew off a million light years somewhere, and they just landed on the planet, but it's not Earth. It's an alien-like planet. So this is the fourth film, and so that movie would basically end with them being on this planet, which is where the TV show would pick up, and that's when we could start delving into, going into detail of the characters that we know of the Autobots and Decepticons. We could switch back and forth between Autobots and Decepticons, world building, and so that's where the TV show would come into play. I'm sorry I got very fast towards the end of this. Yeah, I know I'm on my way to work right now, So I'm about to be late. I was actually like walking really fast and walking up hills. You all just couldn't see it. But yeah, so that's what, 4 films and a TV show. And I honestly think this is a template that's pretty fucking interesting. Like, if you don't think it's interesting, if you think it's dumb as fuck, that's fine. It's just something that I don't know. Because I've heard that the 5th Transformers movie that's coming out is shitty as fuck. And I'm like, fuck, man. So I guess that sparked this idea that I have for a Transformers reboot that I think would be, you know, like I said, if you can kind of take some of the things that I said and apply it to a template and give it a story, I think it would be very fucking interesting to play around with. Basically, you could kind of remold the entire Transformers brand as a whole, remold the entire Transformers as this cool kind of, you know, pseudo, I don't know, kind of 80s like vibe to it. Because, oh yeah, I forgot to say that I want the atmosphere of this to feel kind of like an 80s film. I want to reintroduce lasers, and the music is very, you know, important to the plot and to the story and to the film and to the television show. And so I wanted to kind of give it this, you know, really cool retro vibe. So, like I said, man, I think this is something that, I don't know, could be pretty cool just to see. And, you know, because it would kind of derive more off of the comics. But like I said, this would be a way for you to kind of rebrand and remold Transformers as a whole. And with that said, I will end this Transformers talk. Oh, God, that was so nerdy. How long have I been streaming? 21 minutes. Yeah. So my job is right in front of me, y'all. I have to go. Like, this is literally the reason why I haven't been able to make videos. Because of this right here. Like, I'm about to walk into my job and about to work like a fucking 6, 7, 8 hour shift. Maybe 9, 10. Wouldn't be surprised if it was a 10-hour shift. Jesus Christ. That's crazy, but it's the truth. So I will talk to you all later. I hope you all enjoyed those reactions that I just now posted. And more reactions are coming soon. This was just a quick little, you know, idea that came off the top of my head. So I wanted to share it with you guys. And with that said, I'm getting out of here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your comments. And, you know, be sure to comment on the video once it is uploaded. And yeah, I'm about to get in here, go to work, and I will talk to you all later. I'm out of breath because I was talking the whole fucking time. I was walking. God, I'm gonna get some fucking water. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace!